Hey, you guys remember that scene in Coco where Miguel, Hector, and Ernesto were watching this movie and they were like about the guy who poisoned him and realized that he was actually happened in real life, so Hector got framed by Ernesto. I'll recreate the scene for you. Aha, tú has amigo. I would move heaven and earth to you. Salud. Poison! Why, you little... Now, for context of that scene, because in the movies, that guy drank poison because, he gave him poison. But in real life, Ernesto gave poison to Hector, and then he drank it and died and stole all his music and ideas. You might think, what's going on here? What does it have to do with that? Well, exactly what that was. Let me introduce you to what happened to the exact same thing and by the exact same person. This is David, or d4vd. You probably never heard of him before, but you've probably heard of one of his songs that was so popular he got almost like 300 million views, and also the other millions of views. Such as the songs you probably noticed. The number one is Here With Me, and I think it's called Suicidal, Homicidal, Romantic Homicidal, and Feel It, because that song was meant for the song Invincible when Amber was dating Mark. So yeah, the guy is basically a pretty famous singer. His voice is good enough to get a lot of people's attention, which is great. The lyrics are seen kind of great because people really like the lyrics. But what you may not know that those lyrics had a dark secret behind. Yeah, maybe it is. But let me introduce you to another person. This is Celesta Rivas. Now we'll get to Celesta Rivas Hernandez, but first of all, just say a few prayers for her. Now you guys have probably already seen the news that, yes, maybe long before that, David has been arrested and he is being on trial. Because police have found that there is a limb body part. I can't say the whole thing because I might get caught by, YouTube's primordial gods of, Anyways, what I'm trying to say is YouTube probably won't allow me to say bad words. But what I'm trying to say is they found parts of humans in the back of David's car.
Police have identified badly decomposed human remains found inside of an impounded Tesla last week. Investigators say the car is registered to singer and songwriter David, who rose to fame with hits on TikTok. He was on tour when that body was found. The spokesperson says that he is fully cooperating with authorities. NBC News correspondent Liz Kreutz joins us now from Los Angeles with more details. Liz, where do things stand right now? Inside this impounded Tesla here in Los Angeles, and authorities have now identified that person, and they say that it's a teenager who was inside that car, and they've identified this person as 15-year-old Celeste Rivas of Riverside County, and authorities have actually confirmed that this is a young woman whose family reported her missing last year.
Yes, so I'm back with the picture from there. Celeste Rivas Hernandez was found in the body of, his body was found in the car of the singer David. So why was this? Well, obviously because he was, how else would a dead body would? And what's so crazy about this thing is this body, it was dismembered. What you don't know in English terms, that means these are turned into smaller chunks so they could fit in the car. The body was probably over 1 year ago, and it was decomposing, and it was just laying on there on the Tesla, probably already catching flies and maggots, and nobody even tries to, look in the back of the car, probably because it was, depounded or something. I don't know what it's called. But anyways, they found the body that it with a lot of blood, not just blunt force, but sharp force trauma, probably due to stab and stuff. And if you're not a stupid troglodyte, you could probably connect the dots that the singer David is the one who, committed the thing to Celeste Rivas Hernandez, which made a few days ago that he has finally been arrested by authorities.
It's going to obscure my view from the gate.
You probably didn't see that because of my, blurry camera and how I, edit videos. But anyways, yeah, the infamous singer David was finally arrested a few days ago, and he's put in chains and locked in behind bars in the big house.
Yesterday by the LAPD in connection with a gruesome murder of a 14-year-old girl who went missing in 2024.
David was staying right before his arrest, relatively quiet today, and we're still not sure who might be inside. What we do know is that David is in custody, being held without bail until at least Monday.
Yeah, I had to pause it there. David already started singing and already, got me caught with copyright if I ever did another single second of the video. But anyways, yeah, he is now in, the slammers, the absolute doghouse. He is there, and he is going to get trial for it, because this has been his body was found 1 year ago, and now he's being arrested for it. So justice has finally been gotten to David. And what they else found was a bunch of evidence. First, there's evidence number one that it was obviously in the David's car when he was, he was using it. The other one was the fingerprints and all stuff was in the car. The second one, the other evidence is what's on his phone and what they were. Now, they did a lot of forensic stuff, and what they found is a lot of stuff in David's phone, which completely has a bunch of evidence that they will probably needed to prosecute David. Now, let me go back way to the past and let me explain what happened and why was Celeste Rivas Hernandez's body was in the car with David. Well, apparently, these two were dating, and Celeste Rivas Hernandez was particularly a minor. And you already know that's the first thing that you're not supposed to do when you're a psychically mental normal person. So basically, David and Celeste dated before. I think it was before they were famous. The whole story goes like this: before David was famous or something with his music, they were dating, and because for some reason that David become famous or something with his numbers, Celeste and David started to argue, not to basically argue, but David realized that he realized that he was dating, and he was, technically, since you were dating, and teenagers sometimes have to do, weird stuff, they have ritual acts with it. And that is absolutely not a good image for David. It's just not a good image. Those images is the worst. It's not even the least the things that you should be he should be worrying about. He did a tremendously awful act. He was dating a minor, and he was doing not what she needs to. Sorry, I'm jumping over. He should be not doing what to do with a minor. And upon realizing that, oh, this is bad, and then he realized that he needs. And then Celeste, I think he was about to report him for maybe not report him for abuse, but he wants to come out and says that he has this relationship with David and he doesn't want to do that. David got probably upset, and he decided to inflict on her, and then eventually she, because of loss of blood, David realized that he needs to hide the body and stuff. Then he obviously did the things that I'm not going to say because disclosure and stuff. So the body was left there for really long periods of time, for a year, and then David just gets away with it until then cops finally discovered that Celeste Reeves was discovered there because her parents reported him missing for almost a year. Now it's been a year, and it's been today. And today, I guess it was today, David is finally being in the charge, and now he's on trial. Her lawyers are definitely going to be there. He can definitely afford a bunch of lawyers that would probably try to, squeeze him out of there in prison. Just a little bit of tidbits of, out of sources or anything. A little bit of tears just to get out of David's eyes, to plead him like guilty. But just a little bit, maybe like not even 1 year in jail, probably a slap in the wrist, which I hope it won't. I hope it won't. And now he's in court, and then the authorities have found one of the greatest evidence is probably going to, get David in the slammers probably forever until he rots in there and then goes to hell, and after he does his time in hell and then he goes back up and reincarnated to another guilty person and goes back to hell again. They found a great evidence, and you want to know what it is? Here it is.
And we have breaking news. The singer David appearing in court moments ago. Prosecutors say they found a significant amount of children. David, whose real name is David Burke, is accused of killing Celeste Rivas Hernandez exactly a year ago today. He has already pleaded not guilty. His next court appearance is set for a week from tomorrow.
Now, I paused it there from the world child, but you could probably understand that he has 40... Now, I read, and in the read article moment there, he has been caught with 40 terabytes of CP. And I ain't talking about cyberpunk. I'm pretty sure you know what CP is. The news guy says child, and you can probably know what it is. It's bad no stuff, and you can probably understand why I had to pause that moment there, because that wouldn't be great for my channel. Now I want you to think for a moment. This screen right now, my tablet recording you guys, recording my video right now, has 1 terabyte card right here. Right over there in that corner. Man, that's weird. Plus, that's a 40. Now, 1 terabyte of that card contains almost all of my YouTube, probably almost my YouTube videos that's not been deleted, all my family photos and my sword photos, and there's still a bunch of room left. Plus, 40 more of those. That is a ludicrous, it is crazy, that is stupidly amount of evidence in probably a phone or I don't even know where it is. But that's a lot, okay? This is 1 terabyte I have, okay? I don't even have that much in here. This is not even much. This here is 1 terabyte. 40 terabytes is like 40 of those tiny chip cards. Or like 40 of those, floppy disk or whatever. I don't know how you count that. But what I'm trying to say is, there is no way it could be that much. Maybe there is. I don't know who. Maybe that's all 40 terabytes of cyberpunk. Let's say cyberpunk. And probably there is no, other photos of that. Maybe he has a separate phone for regular photos with him, with Lisa Reeves. And also, the other one is really cyberpunk. Or maybe there was just all 40 terabytes right there that it mixes with cyberpunk and, and all regular photos. Which I'm not defending it, absolutely not. But what I'm trying to say is that is a lot. And you want to know something? At the end of the part there, what he said, that David and his attorney or whatever his lawyer is, they pleaded not guilty. So some guys you might not be surprised, some of you aren't. I mean, literally, there is no possible way that he would ever say that he is guilty. I mean, he says like, "Oh, I'm guilty. I did something wrong. I'm sorry. I didn't do it. Yeah, it wasn't me." Okay, guys. Evidence? Never heard of it. But you know who else agrees with David? His fans. Well, not all of his fans. His stans. The David stans who were ready to die side by side, each other, defending definitely a PDF file behind them. You have to be that kind of an idiot to defend David, who has a bunch of evidence backing behind him right now, stacking there taller than the Mona Lisa. I mean, stacking taller than, Lean Tower of Pizza, ready to pummel them down, and still think that David did not do this. There are multiple evidence of him going live with each other, having photos with her, having contacts with her, the whole shebang, and people still defend him. Plus, the crazy amount of cyberpunk on the phone, and they would still somehow defend David. It is literally the most craziest thing ever. If you are defending a guy who is, in the seat in a cyberpunk. I can't see it. I can't believe I can't see CP. Even that will get me cut. But what I'm saying, I can't believe if you're just a guy defending a singer who's a murderer, a CP, you know, a PDF file, who is definitely a PDF file, and he's probably assaulted or did more terrible things than her. And this guy is being, you know, charged with first-degree murder. Okay, that is extreme. I don't know what kind of, I don't know what you're smoking. Okay, I don't know what you're trying to do here. I don't know what you're trying to prove yourself. I don't know what kind of, a parasocial relationship with David, but you're not defending her. I don't even know how you're defending her. They're definitely gonna say, "Oh no! You see the cyberpunk? It was just a goof. It was just a laugh. You know? Why are you laughing?" Let me phrase you again. That is how the David defenders are going to say when they defended David, if they have the chance. They will say, "Oh no! You see the cyberpunk, the CP? It was just a goof. It was just a laugh. You know? Why are you laughing?" What kind of world we live in right now? But you gotta defend this guy who has too much, I would say too much evidence, which is actually what they need now. There's gotta be some reason why they're doing this, but I just don't know why. But anyways, I'm not a, weird parasocial guy who, likes David. I don't know why, but I hope they could, the people who were really into David probably had to come to Jesus moment and realize, yeah, maybe I'm messed up in my mind. So anyways, yeah, that's all I have to say. And there's also one more thing, that if you go look at the songs for examples, like for how I don't care how long it takes, and I can't even show you it anymore. There is a lot of music videos that, that when he was with Celeste Rivas, there was a lot of, him dating her, like being with her, like there is her, which is what makes, my video of hers, when the Ernesto de la Cruz, salute, and then the guy who poisons him, and then he just he literally used David. He literally used Celeste's. I'm sorry, my mind's going nowhere. He literally uses Celeste's face, all for his image in his music videos, and even for the lyrics. In the music video, in the back of my mind, he did say in the words like something about like being a homicidal thing. I think he's called romantic homicidal. I think you can get the reason why he did that song. So his inspiration was absolutely sick. So it is a sick art that we are probably consuming. Yeah, well, that's all to say. I hope justice is being served to David here, because he is a PDF file. I hope all the PDF files, including in a certain place going on right now. I'm pretty sure he's not super Jeffrey Epstein levels of PDF. I'm pretty sure he's probably there on the power scale of PDF files there. But anyways, yeah, I hope he gets justice, and I hope he gets what he deserves. And prayers to the parents. I hope they are having the patient and the cope they need. I hope they are doing okay. Prayers to them. And rest in peace also Celeste Rivas Hernandez. I hope she goes, she is at peace right now, and she'll be okay. See ya.